around, but well, please feel free to join in and watch the Helsinki cinema. I'm currently flying in a Cessna 172. For anybody who might want to hear anything about it, it's a single engine plane powered by a propeller in the nose. It's created by the Cessna Corporation, of course other models from multi-engines to even jets. The Cessna 172 is pretty much a classic. It's in many occasions used for training aircraft, and it's also a very good private plane. It's being quite cheap and easy to maintain and will work quite well in most conditions. Also, for future reference, I'll be using this plane in a few demonstrative videos, but this is just a flight test. Currently I'm flying basically a traffic pattern around the Helsinki-Malmi airport, which is the smaller airport in Helsinki for people who actually do not know. I'm using runway 36 and I'm flying pretty much north with basically then turning right each time for each step of the traffic pattern. The traffic pattern is basically a holding pattern, if you want to put it that way. Is a navigational aid used around airports when airplanes actually need to wait in a queue for landing. For example, they're usually instructed to fly a traffic pattern. It's also one of the simplest exercises anybody will fly while training, to my knowledge at least. I don't claim to be an expert pilot. I don't have a license. I simply do this as a hobby and for fun, and of course I would like to share my enthusiasm for flight with other people who might have the same interest. I will show you a few outside views of this plane. It's a very small plane, up to 4 seats. Not much else. What you see in the background actually here is the Helsinki-Vantaa airport. I'm flying currently at around 150 feet. It's pretty much standard. Also note that I'm actually flying with visual flight rules. Basically I'm using references on the ground to determine my position. There's one other variant of flying called instrument flight rules, which is used in bad weather conditions, for example, when you need to rely on your instruments to fly. What I will be showing next will be an attempted landing. Also, just so everybody knows, I don't really use a joystick, I use an Xbox 360 controller. I do not have a joystick at the moment, so I'm simply using the Xbox 360 controller. It mostly does okay, of course it's not the same feeling as the fun. It does work. A quick introduction. What I've actually seen here on the dashboard is pretty much the 6 main flight instruments. We have the speed indicator, which is the one that basically says airspeed. We have the artificial horizon, the altimeter on the top right. Then we have the turn coordinator, bottom left. In the middle we have the heading indicator, and finally we have the vertical speed indicator on the bottom right. These are the main 6 instruments we'll be using in any plane. They're present there in any different forms or shapes, but you will be encountering them in most aircraft. Of course, there's also on the left we have fuel indicators, time indicator. On the right we have the VOR indicators, top and bottom, which are used for instrument flying, basically using radio stations to navigate. And what you see, there are some electronic panels which are the actual navigation radios, communication radios, and so on. There is a small compass above the dashboard, which can be used also as an alternate heading indicator, and of course you can see the cockpit itself is very, very simple. After all, it's a single engine propeller aircraft. That's a seat, and well, I'm keeping 1800, but I will have to sense because I would like to land that one. I'm turning here 90 degrees. Basically, a traffic pattern, as I mentioned earlier, consists of 90 degree turns. I'm not turning east will basically do a very large turn, about 180 degrees, and then flying to Malmö on a heading of 360, which basically means directly north. Runway 36 means a heading of 360, so basically when you depart from it, you will be pointing straight north. Of course, there's also runway 18, which is the same tarmac, but it's used for south departures. Then Malmö also has runways 9 and 27, corresponding 27 for east departures, while 9 for west departures. Malmö is not an international airport, it's used for mostly private aviation, small general planes, and helicopters. I have never been there, I'm simply using it in my flights. And now I see the runway there, so I flew a bit to the left of the runway. I was able to identify it. Now I am actually turning right a little bit, adjust my course and descending. And I will apply flaps. Flaps basically will allow me to, in this case, set the plane in a landing configuration. And right now I'm flying on 10% flaps. They will also reduce my speed, which will help me also descend a little bit faster. 1,600 feet. Obviously I didn't get the joyride. Should have turned a little earlier. I guess I got a bit too carried out talking. I will do actually an S descent, S style descent to align myself with the runway, and I will cut off the engines even further. I will have to be now at about 700 feet, but as you can see I'm at 1,200. I'll just simply try to compensate for my pilot errors. I'm still a little too high. How do I know I'm too high? Obviously the lights on the runway are actually telling me that I am flying way too high for the glide slope, which is the landing slope to use for the runway. So I'm choosing in this case to track the flaps, apply power, and go back up. What this is referred to in aviation terms as a roll around. I'm accelerating again about 100 knots, and the vertical speed indicator is the bottom right. I'm actually climbing at about 400 feet per minute, at about 800 feet. The gyro horizon will also indicate climbing. I will maintain this profile until about maybe 1,000 feet, then I will turn to my left. All traffic patterns are mostly flown to the left unless the airport charts state otherwise. Important note here, most airports chart the landing departure traffic pattern and other relevant information you may need for them as a pilot. Now I will actually be turning early. I do not want to fly in advantage airspace, consider restricted airspace, unless I would have no air traffic control permission. I don't know if the air traffic control permits me to fly over Helsinki. I'm maintaining about 1,000 feet. I will be turning directly to a heading of 180, which is directly south, runway 18. Malmö has the same heading, so I'll be flying parallel to runway 18. Then when I get over the sea, I will be turning basically 090, then finally 360, complete the circle and start the glide slope. I'm also not flying as fast as I was earlier, so what you see is basically the default generated scenery for the city of Helsinki. It's not really accurate. It's some landmarks are there, but not all of them. Now I'm okay. Turn over the trees and correct, and completely maintaining 1,000 feet. flight rules. So I'm staying at about this altitude. I'll be turning. One landmark I have been able to see in Flight Simulator in Helsinki was the Hardball Arena. Apparently it has been correctly recreated and about its correct position in real life. So I'm doing actually minute adjustments with the control stick, technically the left stick on my Xbox 360 controller. Able to maintain a relatively stable altitude. So I'm flying 177 degrees, zero. Try to maintain the heading. I've climbed a little bit, but by the way, in aviation, well, probably most of you know that are watching, we are using the imperial measurement system. In some countries like Russia, sometimes they still use meters, but not entirely sure. In the past, in history, for example, the German and Japanese air forces used the metric system on their aircraft instruments. The speed is in knots, which is nautical miles per hour. Vertical speed is measured in feet per minute. Heading is in degrees, for those who don't know, so I'm flying 176, basically if I was flying on a circle I would be flying at an angle of 176 degrees. My plane is changing heading is also because there's actually slight wind, so I have to compensate now that readjust the heading. Now we'll be turning to the left towards the east, basically heading 090, then we'll be turning north. So land economy and distance. Fly high enough, by the way, over here. You can see the Estonian coast, but not quite that high yet. Well, I've flown a little bit too much. Let's go back to 090, then we'll turn north. This wasn't the best traffic pattern. Flown, then we'll turn north at the bank angle of about 20 degrees. You should be able to see the airport soon enough. There it is, well, much better aligned this time. There we go. Heading and turning slowly as required. It will accelerate now. Turning. And almost there. Descending slowly at 1040. Flaps 10 degrees, flying with power. This plane does not have retractable landing gear, so it's not something that we need to worry at the moment. In future videos, test flights will be demonstrating aircraft with fully retractable landing gear. We're now flying 49, 10. The runway landing lights, lights locating in very much we are a bit low compared to the normal light stop, so I will open those up a little bit. Now we're on the right lights. Runway. Adjustments, they say, go to the runway. I will cut power well, according to my flight simulator, there were snow, which is true. There is a very tiny layer of snow outside. This is the view from the tower. Actually, multiple views in flight simulator. This is the wing side view, and again for the cockpit, because I prefer using the cockpit. Fast, 21 knots. Apply the wheel brakes and power a little bit. We will be crossing runway 27. Of course, in a real life situation, we will be verifying the traffic moving on these taxiways. So coming close to the runway, it was I'm going to bring the plane to stop. Otherwise, you will be endangering the airplanes and the passengers. Constantly using the brakes. It's this little bird has a bit much spun sometimes. And we use the idle. This is not the most correct parking I've done. I'm right next to the fuel box. My nose should have been towards it. But well, thank you for watching this test video.